Hello and welcome to the Linux PE channel. Today we are going to see how to register a domain name for the business which you have, or the domain name can be for the hobby, or the domain name can be for your personal profile. So whichever represents the online identity of yours or your activities, we can register a domain name for this one. So what is the domain name? So the domain name is nothing but we can call it as a unique online address. So consider how does somebody will identify you or your activities online is what is called as a domain name. So if you want to let people know how they can see the information of you or your business on the internet, is what represents a domain name. So domain names are normally tied with the website. So having only domain name is not sufficient. So you also have to develop a website and post it on some server, so that if the people want to reach out to you, they can search into the internet for your business and then they can visit to the website of your business or your, as I said, hobby, and then they can get the information. So now, as we see, we understood the domain name. So domain name is nothing but some address which is available online and which identifies you. Now, where is the registry of these addresses, online addresses saved, is the first what we call it as a domain name registrar. So who basically helps us to understand or to register the domain name. So those are called as a domain name registrar. So domain name registrar is a company that manages the reservation of internet domain names. So it is analogous to much similar like we go into the market and purchase a SIM card. So when we purchase a SIM card, which is a unique mobile number for us, the telecom operators keeps the record of your mobile numbers. That is, you are associated with certain particular telecom operator. So in a similar way, you go to the domain name registrar, that is the companies who will help you to register your domain name, and then you can choose for the domain name you want, and then if the domain name is available and not used by somebody else, then you are free to choose that domain name and register with the help of domain name registrar. So those companies who help you to get that online address is called as a domain name registrar. So which are the well-known domain name registrars? Google Domains, Namecheap, GoDaddy, and there are many more domain name registrars are available into the internet, which we can see it and we can take their help. So when you choose the domain name registrar, two things normally can be considered. First is the pricing they offer. So because normally the domain names are paid for the per year, so if you become a customer of those domain name registrars, we need to go and pay for each and every year as we renew. So to get that new customer, normally the domain name registrars offer first year free or first year very low pricing. So you can choose whichever price you think is good for first year and then for the next years, and then select the domain name registrar. And the second what factor is the dashboard. So once you register with their domain name registrar's website, you will get some dashboard to manage your domain name. So there are some settings you have to do, like DNS settings, and some other settings you have to do, or it's basically how easier you will get the dashboard for working with the domains. Those two things are the deciding factor when you register the domain name registrar. It should be a unique, representing your business, small and easy to remember. And then the next thing you can choose is the TLD or top level domain or .com, what we see it here. So most of the businesses starts with a .com extension. Then if the .com is not available when you search for the domain name in domain name registrar, you can choose for different TLD domain extension. So as we see it here in another example, which is what our website linuxb.com, we can register for multiple domains by using the combination of subdomain and the extension. Like the two examples what I have mentioned here, one is the edu.linuxb.com, or it can also become as a edu.linuxb.in or biz.linuxb.in if it is related to the business. Or so basically the subdomain can also distinguish the different businesses or sub businesses we can call inside one business, or different departments of your business, and if you want to have a different services of one business, so that can have a multiple subdomains of one domain. And the .com or .in normally represents or distinguishes the locations or the type of the business. So here we can see it as .in is a country specific, .com is a business specific, then there are something called .net, .co, .in, .co, your country's name. So those kind of different domain names can be registered.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound.
Now we are going to see how to register a domain name. So as we said, we need to think the best possible name which people can easily remember, and it should describe whatever activities we are trying to do in short words, and it can be used as a domain name which we type onto the browser. So since it needs users memory to remember the domain name, it should be a short, sweet and simple. So as we said here, if it is the business is with a name called XYZ Medical and General Stores, you can make sure that it can be something like a xyzmedicos.com or XYZ Medical, something like that, which is easily rememberable. And the domain name should be all small characters and without any space or special characters. Only the numbers are allowed, otherwise that only the letters and numbers can be used for forming a domain name. So now we will see how to register to a domain registrar website, then search for whether the domain name is available or not, and if it is available, we'll proceed further to owning that domain name.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound.
So we are going to use Namecheap as our domain name registrar, and if you can see it here, the first thing we can do is register to the domain name registrar's website, because it will help us to purchase. So we will use our username and set some password. As we are entering the password, then add name, and finally add your email ID, and then we will create an account. So it created an account for us, As you can see it here, it created an account and we can go to the dashboard. So now let's go to the dashboard. Here we can see it. Search for the new domain. So which we can, so as an example, we are going to create a domain name for some restaurant, which we can use it as a example. So let us search for some example of a restaurant with the name Brinda's Pure Veg. So we will add RUNDAZ Pure Veg. So it is an easily rememberable domain name, and then search for the domain name. So as you can see it here, it is going ahead and showing us which all the domain names with all the extensions are available. So as we can see it here, this domain name is available for 791.14 rupees per year, and then from the next year it will cost 1154.50. As we had mentioned previously, the biggest factor to decide a domain name registrar is how easy their dashboard is, and also the price they offer compared to the other domain name registrars, and the kind of technical help, if at all we are required, they are providing. So we found Namecheap is good in all of those points what we had seen. So for first year, normally, because this domain name registration is valid for per year basis, and as we register with this domain name registrar, normally we will be their long time customer, so they offer some discounts or lower price for per year. That is why we have seen it here. It is for first year it is 791, but again for next year it is going to be increased. And also to make it more attractive, they are providing one more coupon. We can see it here. It is new comp 598, which will reduce the price further. So we will copy this coupon and then add this domain name to the cart. So as we can see it here, it has added, and it is also saying that whether you want to buy some other services. But for now we are not concerned, so we will just proceed and go ahead with the checkout process. But before going to checkout, make sure that all the spelling is correct in the domain name, because once there is a small mistake also into the domain name's spelling, then it is difficult for people to then remember that change in the spelling, and it may not be useful at all. You have to re-register again. So we have this name, then we have purposefully kept Z instead of S, and then for Pure Veg. So it is basically a restaurant domain name. Now we will go and click on checkout. So it is showing how do you, so here, so it is basically showing us all the details of the domain name privacy premium DNS. So these are some of the other services, so which we are not worried too much about right now. So we will go and enter the promo code. So promo code is a discount. As we can see it here, the price is currently 806, and let's see whether it reduces further. We will click on apply. Yes, so it has reduced further by some amount, and it is now totaling to the 508 rupees point 71. So now we will go and click on the confirm order. So it is showing, as we said, there are some other services they are offering, so which we are not worried about right now. Normally, for another important thing is this SSL, but for first year mostly we will get a free SSL. So we will see what this SSL is later on. Now click on confirm order. So here we have to add the details, then title, and add your address. So we started. So now we can see here the price has been reduced. Now we'll click on confirm order. So on the next page it will ask for the details of credit card or how you want to make a payment. So we will click on here confirm order, make the payment, and then come back to the same page. So since it is carrying the personal information, so we will be not recording in this video. So we'll come back again once the domain name payment has been completed, and we'll show how it looks. So here we are on to the payment page, and we have filled up the card details, and then we'll click on continue. Here it is asking us to confirm the payment, so we'll proceed further and click on the pay now. The payment is processing, and soon it will confirm if everything goes all right. So now we can go to the dashboard. Now we have successfully completed the payment, and then we can go to the dashboard after the payment is successful. So here we can see the domain name has been registered with our name. So this is our user account, and then now we are the owner of this domain name. So here we can see some of those details of whether you want to auto renew the domain for the next year or not. So for now we'll disable the auto renew. So if you have the long-term business visibility and everything, then you can just go ahead and keep the auto renewal as is, but because we are using for the demonstration purpose, we are going to turn off this auto renew. And now here the next step it comes is to make sure that we change the DNS for the As you can see it here, it has Namecheap basic DNS. That means you can configure the DNS for the hosting. Once you have registered a domain name and now you are the owner of the domain, the last thing which we have to do is to do a email verification of the domain name. As you can see it here, we have received one email. So just what we have to do is click here to verify your email address. So as we can see it here, from this date it has been made mandatory to verify the email address of who is the owner of this domain. So we will click it here and we can see it now. It is showing that we have verified the email ID. Thank you.